Welcome to this new video on Forza Horizon 6, where I'll show you how to optimize your chances of buying the cars you want in the auction house. How to snipe cars. That's what it's called. This is going to be really useful for all players who are looking to get very rare cars in the auction house, like the Nissan GT-R Forza Edition or the Toyota Trueno Forza Edition. But this will work for absolutely all the very rare cars in Forza Horizon 6. Actually, the main problem with these cars is that there are a lot of players looking for them in the auction house. Honestly, there must be hundreds or maybe even thousands of players searching for them at the same time. And on the other side, there are only a few players who actually have these very rare cars and want to sell them. So there's a huge demand, very little supply, and that makes it extremely difficult to buy these cars in the auction house. So today in this video, I'm going to show you all the little tips and tricks you can use on your end in Forza Horizon 6 to improve your chances of getting these cars more easily in the auction house. There's not really a magic method, but there are several little things you can do to simply be faster at buying cars compared to other players who might not know these tips. And that way, just increase your chances of getting all these cars. Obviously, if you have other tips for the auction house to recommend, feel free to put them in the comments. It will definitely be very useful for others who come by later. And don't hesitate, if this video gave you a little boost, if it helped you get certain cars more easily, for example, to show it. To thank me for free by supporting this video, by leaving a like, for example, by subscribing for future videos, or even more. I always appreciate when you use your Prime on my Twitch channel. The auction house is the place where you can buy cars from other players, rather than directly from the game's auto show, where you can really buy any car at any time. The auction house is where you'll be able to buy cars from other players. So right now, for example, someone is selling their GTO, someone else is selling their Porsche 918 Turbo S, and so on and so on. There are literally thousands of players reselling their cars on Forza Horizon 6 through this method. It's a chance to sometimes get a really good deal. For example, you can get a Revolta for 180,000 credits, which is much less than at the dealership. But it's also a chance to get cars that you can't get any other way, except maybe through a random draw. For example, the Nissan Forza Edition, the Trueno, all the very rare cars in the game. But also, later on, the seasonal cars as well. For example, the Mazda Ferrari is available to unlock in Forza Horizon 6's first season. There's a chance it will become rare. And later on, one of the only ways to get it in the game might be to buy it in the used car auction house from another player who wants to get rid of it. Basically, how does it work? Well, you have a menu where you can filter by brand, by car model, or simply by performance category. And then you can confirm your search filters by clicking on Confirm. So the real difficulty is that for some cars, like the Nissan Forza Edition for example, there are very few for sale. So wait, where is it? There it is, got it. Yes, I confirmed it. Well, as you can see, there are only 2 for sale. It's extremely rare for this to happen, but both are actually sold. By the time they appear in my car search menu, they're already sold. And you see, if I do more searches, well, there are almost none for sale. So let's say that as soon as one appears here, it's really hundreds of people fighting at the same time to get it. Now, I'm going to give you a series of tips that will simply allow you to be the first to see the cars appear, but also the first to click on the car purchase option. First of all, here's the first thing. Here I'm showing you an example with the Nissan B1, which isn't rare at all, but you can apply this to any rare car in the game. When a car appears in the auction house that you absolutely want to buy and is very hard to get, don't think you'll be able to get it by bidding. The only way to be sure to get it quickly isn't by making a regular bid, it's by using Buy It Now. To save time, don't click directly on the bid like I'm doing here and then click on Buy It Now. If you do that, there will definitely be people who are faster than you. Instead, what you should do is press Y directly and buy immediately. That way, you avoid having a loading screen like I just showed you before clicking on Buy It Now. This way, you skip a menu screen and you also save loading time. So you select Buy It Now and then you press Yes. Second thing, you really need to practice spamming the menu. Because actually, when you're searching for a car, once the menu here appears with the cars for sale, the menu doesn't refresh. That means even if you wait here for 10 minutes, no new cars will show up. It only refreshes when you confirm a new search. Now, I don't know why these ones don't disappear even though they've already been sold. But yeah, don't think that by waiting in the menu like this, newly listed cars will show up. It won't work. You really have to restart the search every time. Next, you really need to practice this process. You search the listings, confirm, and as soon as you press confirm, you start spamming the Y button in case a car appears, so you can immediately bring up the little menu I showed you before and use buyout. So really, you need to practice doing this. You confirm, and you start spamming Y. There you go. You see, they're already sold. But that's the idea. You search, confirm, and you spam Y. If the car doesn't show up or if it's already sold, you just press B. Press A twice to search, confirm, and repeat, spamming Y. If nothing appears, press B and keep repeating this loop until a new car shows up and until you get the buyout option. When a car appears, quickly flick down, press A, then press A again to confirm the purchase. So practice doing this, or at least get used to imagining that it's going to happen. Because if the car appears, you'll really have to do it in just about a second. You'll really have to press Y, then hit buyout, boom. That's it. You'll have to do that as quickly as possible with the rare car. Now, even if you get the chance to hit buyout and go through the car buying process, it's possible that, at the same time, another player did the same thing and the car's already sold. That's what makes it really complicated. Now, what we're going to try to do is optimize the time the game needs to simply show you the car for sale, but also to optimize the time the game needs to recognize that you've initiated the buyout. First thing, obviously, don't use Wi-Fi. That's essential. Don't use 4G if you unfortunately have a satellite network, like Starlink, for example. Well, unfortunately, it's pretty much a lost cause for you, actually. Even with 4G or Starlink offering great speeds, the main issue isn't speed. What matters most is having the best possible ping. So I want to say that, unfortunately, those who have fiber will always be slightly advantaged over a player who has DSL or another type of connection, simply because with fiber, you get a 2-millisecond ping. Whereas as soon as you're on ADSL, or let's say a satellite connection, you're more around 60 or 120 milliseconds. So it's a really small unit of measurement. But actually, it makes a huge difference when buying a car like this. If you have a 4G or Starlink connection, sorry, but unless you're very lucky, your chances aren't great. With DSL, you have a slightly better chance. And if you have fiber, let's just say you really have the best connection to do this kind of thing. But after that, don't use Wi-Fi. Because even if you have a really good speed and a really good ping between your router and the internet, what will hurt you if you use Wi-Fi is actually the ping. It's the delay between your PC and the router over Wi-Fi. It's extremely long compared to a wired network. So even if you have to buy, let's say, a 30-meter cable for your house, do it. Because I swear it makes a huge difference compared to those who are on a Wi-Fi connection. Third tip to help slightly optimize game response time. If you're on PC, don't use your controller, but use your keyboard, because the response time of keyboard keys is lower than the response time of a controller. It's the same, only a few milliseconds difference. But gaining these milliseconds can help you be among the first to buy the cars. Next, there's another way to really optimize the time the game needs to display a new car for sale in the auction house. This will depend on the graphics settings, and there are a series of optimizations that I'm going to show you now. First, you go to Settings, then to Visual Accessibility, and you disable moving backgrounds. By starting with this and following the other little tips I'm going to show you, it's simply about simplifying as much as possible what needs to be displayed in the game's menus, so the game can really focus on showing the new car for sale without wasting time calculating everything else. So here, we're really aiming to have the fastest possible loading time for the game. So here, indeed, we're going to disable the animated background. You go into video settings and lower your resolution. So yes, this will probably make your game look really ugly. You're really going to want to lower your resolution as much as possible because the fewer pixels there are to process, the faster the game runs. And it's the same principle. All your graphics in general, you're going to lower them as much as possible so that there's simply less demanding stuff to load. Fewer textures, fewer reflections, less of everything. Really, the fewer things there are to load, the faster the game menus load and the faster your auction house will load too. I'm not sacrificing everything here, or I'd have to redo all my OBS display settings, which would be really annoying. So yeah, but just keep in mind that you'll need to lower the resolution on your end if you want to optimize it a bit. And then, if you really want to optimize as much as possible, you're going to do something else. To optimize even more, you're going to take the smallest car from your garage, the one that really has the least textures to load. So, I recommend the P50. It's really the smallest car in the game. And you're going to do something else too, which is in the paint menu. Paint it black and give it a matte finish, and instead of clicking on glossy, you select matte like this. The fewer reflections there are, the fewer textures there are, the faster the loading times are. Sorry, the menu loading times. By doing all this, actually, when you do a search in the auction house, it's really going to massively boost the speed at which the menus load, actually. We're going to try again and see if we can catch one live. Here, look. It really makes a noticeable difference. Once we hit confirm, the menu appears almost instantly. Unlike the classic menu with the game's graphics settings at max, where it might not take a full second longer, but it does take about half a second more. Well, of course, when you go back to the open world and resume your normal game, just set your graphics back to max. Set your graphics back to normal. Normally, you can still use the classic menus, since otherwise the game feels dull with menus, always having a fixed background. Those are the only tips I know that might help boost your chances a bit. Obviously, on PC, well, there are people who use macros, things like that, which really let you grab the cars even faster. But, it's something I don't recommend you do, simply because it's easy to detect and because the Forza Horizon 6 team actually bans people who use macros like that. So, some people will say, I've always used macros and I've never been banned. Maybe, but there are also people who will say they've already been banned for that too. So, it would be stupid. Whereas if you do it legitimately, like I showed you here, simply by optimizing the search times, the display times, and everything that goes with it, normally, you still have a good chance of succeeding. In any case, a much better chance than a player who doesn't use all these little tricks. I hope this helped you get the best cars using this method. If it did, feel free to show them off in the game. You can use my instant link, which will be under this video, to buy your games much cheaper than elsewhere, while also giving a little support to my channel at the same time. Horizon 6 is €40 cheaper, and there's Game Pass, there's PSN, and all the games are much cheaper than elsewhere. Thanks to everyone who watched, whether briefly or all the way through. See you tomorrow for the next video. Bye.